So, welcome back to the session, right. So, in today's session we will discuss about the time response analysis of the system, right. So, before that we had seen in detail about the state space model, right. So, in this session we will discuss about the time domain analysis of the system, right. So, in the previous session in the unit 1 we discussed about the type control system, okay, and then we had seen that it can be modeled using various types of mathematical modeling, just like transfer function model is there, then state space model is there, then differential equation model is there, right. So, here in this unit we will discuss the basic analysis and study of our system with respect to time domain. Okay. So, in today's session we will discuss about the various test input that we will use in analysis of our system. Okay. Then we will discuss about the type and order of the system, and then we will discuss about the transient analysis. Okay. So, time response analysis of the system, right. So, the time domain refers to the analysis of the system performance with respect to time. So, whatever performance we are observing, or whatever you can say input of the input to the system and output signal to the system, we will observe them with respect to time, and whether they are satisfying our requirement or not, we will observe it with respect to time. Okay. So, this analysis would be time domain analysis that is used to evaluate the state and output response with respect to time. So, as I told you, we will observe here our input signal variation, output signal variation with respect to time. The time response of a system divided into basically two parts. One is the transient response and second is the steady state response. So, when we combine the transient and steady state response, then we will get the complete transient analysis of my system. Okay. So, in this unit we will divide our chapters in two parts, one on transient analysis, second on steady state analysis. So, what is transient analysis? So, they are defined as the time response that will present in the system when you apply the input, right, and when you observe it for longer time, then this response will dies out. Okay. So, you can say that the time response which will goes to 0 as time becomes very large, right. So, whenever you are assuming any random system and subjecting it to a standard test input, certain disturbance will come. The time interval of those disturbance will come under category of transient analysis. When those disturbance will dies out, then that interval will come under category of steady state analysis. Okay. So, the steady state analysis will be what? The part of total time response that remains after the transient has died out. Okay. So, this is the steady state response. Okay. So, basically deal with the estimation of steady state error between the input and output. So, whenever we provide any input, whether it help us to achieve the desired output or not, it will evaluate in terms of steady state error. Okay. So, now we will try to understand the concept of transient and steady state. So, here we are assuming here a wine glass, right. So, whenever this wine glass hit with an obstacle, then what will happen? My fluid or wine will trying to get disturbed. Okay. So, there would be a certain vibration in the glass and lot of vibrations present on the wine. The time interval we will get this vibration. So, this is known as the transients or vibrations present in the glass. Okay. So, this state would be the transient analysis. Whenever my liquid level is stable in the wine, there would not be any disturbance, then we can say our state reaches to the steady state, or our wine reaches to the steady state whenever there is no vibration. Okay. So, in this way we can say this response belongs to the transient analysis. Whenever there is no vibration, no oscillation, this will come in steady state. It means in steady state oscillations will die out, and in transient analysis oscillation will be there, or in maximum and 90% case you will get oscillations in the system. Okay. Now, we will talk about the standard test input. So, we have to select the input which can check the stability and which can check the all response of my system, which is possible in modeling of control system. Okay. So, here we need to check the standard test input, right. So, the input signals to a control system are not prior to the design of control system. Okay. So, we need to do that, we need to apply this standard test input to check the performance of control system. Okay. So, in general the control system design does not based on the response of the system. Okay. So, we what generally used to do, we need to model a control system. In that case, we are not model it depending on my input. Okay. For example, if I am modeling the security system of my car, whenever my car hit with an obstacle, then airbag should open. Okay. So, the what is the time interval at which time it should open. So, I need to design a control mechanism. It means I need to install a sensor on the car bumper. Whenever it hit the obstacle, then that sensor will get the input and it will send a signal to a airbag circuitry. That airbag will sense the input and then it will opens the airbags, right. It means this whole process is happening by sensing the input. So, in this way, whether it is working correctly or not, we need to apply standard test input. It means by my thumping on the bonnet, it will open the airbag or not, or what should be the intensity of, you can say, my input force on the car that will open the airbag. I need to check all those things. For that purpose, we need to apply certain standard test input, okay, which will check my performance of my system, right. So, generally standard test signal include unit impulse signal, unit step signal and unit ramp signal and sometime unit parabolic signal. Okay. So, we are applying a term unit in every signal, right. So, what is the meaning of unit impulse? It means in case of unit impulse, we are assuming that the area under curve is unity. So, that is why we are saying it is the unit impulse signal. Second signal is unit step. So, here the amplitude of signal is 1. So, that is why we are saying it is unit or you can say unit step signal. In the same way, when we come for unit ramp, here slope of signal, ramp signal is a continuously rising signal. Here slope of the signal is 1. That is why we are saying it is unit ramp signal, right. And when you go for a parabolic signal, in that case it is a very fast varying signal. If you see with respect to time, changes in the parabolic is faster than ramp. So, whenever we need to apply fast change in my system as an input, then we have to go for the parabolic type of input. Okay. So, now we will see them one by one. So, here this is my black box or a control system. I am applying here my standard input to test this system and it will give us a certain output. We would like to see whether it is coming in our desired state or not, right. So, this analysis basically is known as time domain analysis, where we are observing our input signal with respect to time and output signal behavior with respect to time. So, here I am keep varying my time and then I am observing the behavior of my system. Okay. So, this is the transient analysis. So, first is here impulse input. Okay. So, generally whenever we need to check whether our system is stable or not, then we have to prefer the impulse signal. Okay. So, impulse signal helps in determining the stability of the system. Okay. So, this impulse signal definition is known to you, that is del t from range minus infinite to infinite will gives you 1. Okay. And if you basically calculate the area under curve of the signal impulse at time t equal to 0, this will be the unity. That is why we are saying it is a unit impulse signal. Okay. And the impulse response of any system is absolutely integrable, then system is stable. So, if we apply impulse to any system and if response is coming and that response is integrable, then we can say my system is stable. If it is not integrable, it is going beyond infinity, then what we can say, if it is response is going towards infinity, then my system would be unstable. So, always remember, whenever we have to calculate the stability of the system, you have to go for impulse response, right. In the same way, we can go for step signal. So, step signal is basically, you know, from definition of time, that it will gives you a unity amplitude for time t tends to infinity. Okay. So, everywhere you will get this unity amplitude for positive value of time. Whenever t is less than 0, you will get here 0 value. Okay. So, this is again a signal which will tells you how system is my durable, or what are the possible input my system will sustain, that would be given by step signal input. Okay. So, it will check the durability of my system. Okay. So, step input basically you can say a bounded input, right, and whenever we apply step signal to a system and that system giving us the bounded output, then we can say my system is stable. If my output response is unbounded, then we can say my system is unstable. Okay. The same way we can come for ramp signal, okay, but this signal is unbounded input. So, whenever we apply unbounded input to any system and response is bounded, then we can say my system is absolutely stable. Okay. Whenever I am applying my unbounded input and response is unbounded, it means my system is unstable for this type of input. So, this is a slow growing input. It means if I apply a ramp signal and if I observe with respect to time, then I will get a ramp signal like this, where my slope is unity. Okay. It will keep rising with the unity of slope. This is my ramp signal. Okay. It is given by the definition x t equal to t, and if you take a Laplace transform of it, it will be in terms of a over s square. Okay. And if you would like to see a fast varying input, because it is slow increasing input, whenever we want to see fast increasing input, then we need to go for the parabolic type of signal, which expression would be given by this a t square by 2, and if you see in Laplace domain, it is a over s cube. Okay. So, here parabolic function is faster than ramp signal. So, here we can check the durability of the system. Now, we will discuss about the type and order of the system, because our response, time domain response, totally depends on type and order of the system. Okay. So, here you can say every transfer function, because in the time domain analysis we will use the transfer function model for study purpose, and in transfer function model we know that initial conditions are 0. We have to assume only the, you can say, suppose d 2 y by dt square term is here, we have to replace it by s square, and remaining term we have to skip. Okay. So, here the steady state analysis depends on type of the system. So, whether we are going for type 0, steady state analysis would be different. Whenever we are going for type 1 and type 2, steady state analysis would vary. Okay. So, type of system is obtained from open loop transfer function, GSHS. Okay. So, whenever you need to calculate the type of the system, then you have to observe the expression of open loop transfer function. From there you can get value of type of the system. Okay. And the number of open loop poles lying on the origin, that will gives you the basically type of the system. It means whenever you are observing the open loop transfer function, then you need to observe how many poles lying at the origin, then that will tells you the type of the system. It means if 2 poles at the origin, type is 2, if single pole at the origin, type is 1, if 0 pole at the origin, then type is 0. Okay. So, this type is depending on poles at the origin. So, transient analysis, if you see transient analysis, it depends on order of the system. How to obtain the order of the system? In that case, you have to go for quadratic equation, right. So, in the last lecture we discussed how to obtain quadratic equation from transfer function, from differential equation, and from steady space variable analysis. So, once we obtain the quadratic equation, then we can calculate the order of the system. Okay. So, in this case we are getting the transfer function of closed loop system like this. So, here 1 plus GSHS term will give us the quadratic equation. Okay. So, the highest power of this equation will give us the order of the equation. So, whenever we need to calculate order of equation, you need to calculate 1 plus GSHS, and in this expression we need to observe the highest power of S, and the highest power of S will give us the order of the equation. Okay. So, now this is we will see how to calculate type of a system. Suppose a open loop transfer function is given like this, I need to observe denominator term and the highest power of s. It means the number of poles lying at the origin. So, here s raised to power n telling me n number of poles lying at the origin. So, type is here n. So, you have to observe the open loop transfer function, observe the denominator expression and check number of poles at the origin. Okay. In same way, this is another example where I am assuming that this is a transfer function given by this, where this p terms will gives me number of pole at the origin. Okay. So, here when p equal to 0, we can say type 0 system is here, when p equal to 1 type 1, when p equal to n type n. Okay. So, we need to determine the order and type of the system from this open loop transfer function. So, for type of the system, I have to observe the denominator part, as square is here, it means type is here too. Okay. What would be order? I need to calculate it 1 plus G s H s expression. So, I am assuming that feedback is 1, H s would be 1, it means I need to calculate 1 plus G s. If I calculate it, then I will get again what? The highest power is here s cube. If you solve it, you will get s cube plus 5 s square plus 10 s plus 20 equal to 0. This is basically what? 1 plus G s equal to 0. So, here I have to observe highest power of s, highest power of s is here 3, it means this is the order of the system. Okay. So, this is the order that we are looking for it. Now, we will look for the transient analysis. So, here we need to consider this transfer function. This is the generalized expression, okay, where output given in terms of s, input expression in terms of s, right. So, this would be a transfer function. So, now we need to start here with 0 order system. Okay. So, you know that in the previous discussion we had discussed that the numerator part will give us the zeros. If I calculate the root of the above polynomial or numerator polynomial, this will give us zeros, and if we calculate the root of denominator polynomial, this will give us the poles. So, zeros are the complex frequency which will make the system response to the 0, and poles are the complex frequency which will make the system response infinite. So, all this thing we had seen in the previous lecture. So, when we discuss about the 0 order system, in that case the transfer function would be given like this. So, you have to focus on the term order, right. So, order means the highest power of s would be s raised to power 0. It means this will be present inside the system. Okay. So, here b naught over a naught, there is no s term, right. So, whenever we talk about the 0 order system, in that case transfer function would be a constant value, it will not contain any s parameter or s value. Okay. So, basically this is giving you a DC gain k, okay, or you can say x naught s over x I of s equal to k will gives you a transfer function. You can model it like this: x I s is the input, this is a system which is giving you gain k, and output is x naught of s. Okay. So, if we discuss about the feedback element in the control system. So, the feedback element in the control system are basically the sensors, transducers. Okay. So, these are the example of 0 order system, right. So, these systems belongs to this category, right. So, there is no input time response analysis for 0 order system, right, because input and output characteristics are linear. So, in that case we can't perform here time domain analysis for 0 order system, right. So, that is why we start our analysis from first order system, right. So, in the first order system you will find the transfer function like this, where you will get the highest power in the denominator is s raised to power 1, right. So, this is b naught over a 1 s plus a naught, and now we would like to convert it into a standard format which is known as time constant format. So, when we study the unit 4 and unit 5, then we will discuss about it, that is time constant format. So, we need to write this expression in terms of 1 plus s t. Okay. So, for that purpose I need to take common a 1 from denominator, right, then this will this will become, sorry, a naught from denominator, and this will become this expression. If you solve it, this will become k over 1 plus T s, where k is basically the DC gain of the system in terms of B naught over A naught, and T is here basically the time constant element, that is A 1 over A naught. So, this is the standard time constant format. It will help us in the analysis of first order system. Okay. So, time constant defined as the time taken by system response to reach 63% of final value. Okay. So, whenever we apply a certain input and my certain output is coming and change in the output reaches to the 63%, if I calculate that time interval would be the time constant. Okay. So, it means I need to observe this signal with respect to time, I need to see how much value or how much interval it will take to cross 0.63 value. I need to measure this time interval, this would be the time constant of the system. Okay. So, if we see here the pneumatic system, hydraulic system, thermal systems, they are the basically example of first order system. Okay. So, now we will see the analysis of first order system. So, here I am assuming of random first order system is given, which transfer function is basically here 1 over tau s. This is the open loop. If I apply here a unity feedback system, this will become a closed loop system, and for a closed loop system I need to calculate a transfer function like this, that is G s over 1 plus G s H s, then we will obtain the closed loop transfer function. Okay. So, from this expression, if I apply this analysis, G s is known to me, H s is unity. If I calculate transfer function from this expression, I will get 1 over 1 plus S tau. Okay. So, this is the standard block of first order system. So, in this system we will apply our standard test input just like impulse, step and parabolic, and we would like to see what would be the response. Okay. So, here unit impulse I am applying, and if I observe in S domain, value is 1, my Y s over R s, R s is the basically my input signal, Y s is basically my output signal in S domain. So, this would be the expression. Okay. R s is 1, this would be the expression. So, to obtain my output, I need to take Laplace inverse y t, it would be given by Laplace inverse of this expression, and it would be given by 1 over tau exponential of t minus tau. So, if I plot this function, so I will get this response. So, this is the impulse response of first order system. Okay. So, in this case I am getting a time decaying expression, right, because it is exponential of minus t over tau. So, whenever this time is increasing, my response is dying out. It means this is the stable response, right. Whenever my response is going like this, it is unbounded, and we can say this is the unstable response. But here what is happening, my whole response is dying out, it is going to 0 as time t tends to infinity, then we can say this is my stable system. Okay. So, this is the impulse response of first order system. Remaining step and ramp response we will discuss in next lecture. Okay. So, thank you for today.